Hello, and welcome to episode 56, the spring training episode. That's it. I'm Corey Stevens, or I'm Chase Almy, and you're Corey Stevens.
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, whose line?
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so we are actually doing this podcast, so if you hear anything weird or hear anything that's kind of out of the ordinary or just the audio quality kind of went back to being shitty, that's because we're doing this driving down I-20 right now.
That is correct.
We're on our way back home. It was a great trip, a lot of fun.
Yeah, but no excuses, okay?
No excuses. We're doing it live. We're running on fumes.
Yeah.
It's been an emotional
Emotional
quest.
roller coaster.
It's been everything. I mean, it was.
There was a real letdown last night. a lack of certain people.
Yeah, in the parking lots. We booked a hotel based on.
No. Let's start off the show on the right foot.
Angelica Cerrone is on assignment, so she is not joining us for this. She is back home in Frisco, Texas.
Yep. It's true.
So she got the whole week off, but she needed to because she was crying because she missed out on an opportunity to take a picture with Joey Gallo,
right.
which I stole from her.
I think Joey would have taken more than just a picture with us if Angelica was around, but no.
That's weird, Corey.
She didn't want to join.
She didn't want to come, and we gave her 2 or 3 times, and we were like, hey, we can probably make this work. And then even while we were out there, we were like, hey, call Mama Cerrone, see if she can't get you a cheap flight.
Right.
And she wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
so she missed out.
From Sunday to Thursday, we've been on the road or in Arizona.
So imagine...
It's been a crazy 5 days.
Yes. Corey and mine's life has been... outside of almost dying there.
Almost dying there?
I didn't know if you were going to hit the curve going with it or if we were going to slow down. But
I've gotten us 2,500 miles and you're still doubting my driving ability?
Yeah. Our life has been pretty much if they made a movie based around Chevy Chase's National Lampoon's Vacation and Major League. It's been
National Vacation and Major League.
Yeah, it's been that for us. It's been a quest just to get there, and then when we got there, it was Major League, where we went around to spring training. And if you want to be a part of Major League Baseball,
throw a little something about the storms that never happen.
Yeah, the Arizona storms.
Whatever movie that corresponds to.
Yeah, the Arizona storms are different than the Texas storms. But we did have one rainout day. They did get in 5 innings of a game that night, and we had 2 games that got rained out.
It was kind of like it was maybe over 24 hours of rainy time.
Yes.
Yeah. But
the rivers actually became rivers for a brief
It's all
moment.
good.
So I guess we started out on Sunday. We drove through. We saw the Sod Poodles and the Albuquerque Isotopes.
Yeah,
their stadiums.
I think those need to be thrown into the rest of the stadiums. You know, Sod Poodles, they don't have a stadium yet.
They have a stadium. They don't have a field.
It's mostly a stadium yet.
Yeah. And there's been a couple of other places that we've heard, too, that there might be pushing it on stadiums. I can't remember where that person told us it was. But
it wasn't Colorado Springs.
No, it was another one that's in the Brewers organization. But we got out there Monday. We went to spring training practices in Surprise, Arizona for the Rangers. That's where we got to watch a lot of guys. We got to watch Hunter Pence. We got to watch Joey Gallo. Got to watch Lance Lynn and Chavez throw some bullpens. It was a lot of fun. It was really great because you're right there with them.
Yeah, we learned an important lesson: is if you want to get right up on the action, you just gotta get the hoodie. You
gotta buy the hoodie. You gotta find the spring training hoodie, put that on, throw some glasses on, and a bucket hat, and you can almost roam around wherever you want.
Yeah, nobody's gonna question you.
I was in a Cactus button-down shirt in honor of the Cactus League, and walked right through a gate that wasn't supposed to be open, wasn't supposed to be there, and I'm standing behind everybody while they're throwing bullpens with people waving their arms at me like, get the fuck out of here.
We got a few sideways looks.
Yeah, it was not fun.
But it taught us an important lesson. Spring training. It's mostly loose, fun and games, except for at Salt River, where that's the actual TSA.
Salt River. I thought I was going to have to strip down naked. They asked me if I had binoculars or weapons with me, because I wanted to bring a backpack in. The last day of the trip, I didn't take my fucking backpack anywhere.
Right.
So we go Monday morning.
Yeah, we had there was batting cage sessions. There was a lot of minor leaguers doing fielding practice. Elvis was over there doing fielding practice. He signed some stuff.
Pitchers working on PFP.
Yeah.
On one field, and then after we met Joey Gallo there, we got a picture with him for Angelica. Then after that, we hightailed it across town, about to the middle of town to Camelback.
Yeah.
To go see the Dodgers play the Giants.
Yep.
Which, thanks to our good buddy Ray Ortega, hooked us up with some really nice seats over there.
Yeah, sweet seats. And the stadium is definitely good too.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. And the game was a tie game into the 8th, I believe.
Yep, and that's when
Joey Bart.
What could be Angelica's new crush, Joey Bart, hit an opposite field double, scored 3, and broke it open for the Giants, rather. Yeah. But yes, the Dodgers.
And the Dodgers, that was 3 no-hit innings for the Dodgers pitcher.
Yes,
it was a good matchup.
Bruce Bochy out there, poor guy. He's having a rough time getting around. I mean, it's almost sad to watch him get out there to the mound. But he seemed to be in happy spirits. He's smiling, laughing, having a good old time. But the Dodgers field, great stadium, great complex. They share it with the White Sox.
Yeah.
What's really cool, though, out there is that the teams bring local food with them. So, like at the Cubs Stadium, they had Italian beef sandwiches, Chicago dogs. They had all of that. L.A. side of it there, they had some Asian food.
They did.
Looked and smelled really good.
A lot of people got it. They had the Dodger dog.
They brought the Dodger dog out. Texas had the same type of stuff. So that's one really cool aspect that they do bring. It's, there's a lot of people that move to Arizona and retire. We saw a lot of older people at the games. And so it's a lot of people that are there living, they grew up in Cleveland or they grew up in Milwaukee or whatever. So they bring back those local favorites. So people that live out in Arizona, when they're coming to a game or whatever, can have the taste of home like it's a real ball game.
Yeah, it definitely. No, the food was not really disappointing at all. It was pretty good. Different ballparks. Camelback hot dogs were good. The beers were good at different places. So
beers were a little pricier.
Yeah.
It seemed like when I was looking at prices on the board, they seemed a little pricier than Texas. Honestly, though, Goodyear, where the Indians and the Reds are at, had the best prices overall for food and drink. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you guys want to do that, I'm thinking about posting up some stuff, maybe even doing a Facebook thing and some Instagram graphics to kind of tell you, if you guys want to take a spring training trip, how to do it on a budget, learn from where we fucked up, take some advice that we learned and some hints that we got from people who do it all the time and how to make the best out of it. So that night after the
Giants-Dodgers. And that was I liked that we caught just the mix of the stand. Like, it's cool to have equal representation at a stadium. Like in every, like Rangers Royals, we caught, and you're going to get cheers for both sides. Giants Dodgers was I thought the fans were great on both sides. They were very into it.
Yes.
And the D-backs Rangers, there was fans on both sides were cheering, and the Brewers, we were sitting by some Brewers fans, and the Brewers on the opposite side were cheering a lot. Indians had plenty to cheer for. So it was that part. That part is cool because you don't get that at a normal stadium. You just get one side.
Right, because you get a lot of people.
Unless it's the Rangers Red Sox, then you're going to get a lot of Red Sox.
Exactly. But the thing is, when you see, this area, people come out for a a trip. They make a spring break trip out of it, or they make a people will follow these teams in their area because they live in that neighborhood. So people that live in Goodyear, there's a lot of Indians and Reds fans because the Indians and Reds have been there for 10, 15 years.
Right.
And so that's one of the really cool things about spring training is you get a lot of that mix. And so, you have Giants fans that were in Scottsdale. They made the trip over to Camelback, and everybody had a good time. We saw Giants fans drinking with Dodgers fans in the parking lot. It was a really cool experience. Yeah. So after we left that, we went to a tasty place called Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers. We thought that would be a great spot to go. It's a sports bar in...
they've got about 5 locations around Phoenix.
5 locations, I believe. They just opened the one that we went to about a month ago. And really good. I had the Arizona burger.
Yeah.
It's a Hatch green chili. Kind of has that... New Mexico, Arizona flair to it. Really good burger, really for the price.
Yeah.
I mean, good portions. And
I think I had a hangover burger with the egg on top. That was good. They had a huge beer selection. So that was good. Lots of TVs. So it's a well done sports bar.
Right. And it was one of those places that was kind of like, yeah, we're going to try to go this kind of classier, nicer Hooters type feel with the wait staff and stuff like that. And it really works for them. That whole concept was really cool. We ate there. We got to talk to a lot of the people that work there, passed out some stickers because, hey, we're Cold Beers and Curveballs. We're eating Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers.
How perfect, yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect mix.
We got to talk to some more people that we didn't even intend to talk to,
Yeah, there was a guy that it was a good time. Got a little upset with another guy, but we were upset too.
Just bar arguments, right?
Right. Well, after that, we left and went to the Rangers and Royals game in Surprise, Arizona. I'm not going to lie, I was let down with the Surprise facilities as far as an overall feel.
Yeah, it's totally not as new and nice at all as the other facilities we went to.
And it's just way too fucking overpriced.
Their store left a lot to be desired. Just like the store itself was kind of...
there wasn't a lot...
The pro shop was just... Well, maybe the pro shop that we went into was inside the stadium. The other ones were separate. There was a separate pro shop that the next morning we were looking at, but we didn't go in.
Yeah, but I think you're going to have...
The pro shop might have been a little bit nicer, but the prices were definitely off.
Right. So they had the spring training hoodie, as we were talking about, because Corey and I had come up with this plan that I was going to infiltrate spring training the next day if it didn't rain. We were going to go to Dick's Sporting Goods because we figured out color schemes on what I needed to do and how I was going to be able to basically break in and Dave Portnoy the whole thing. And we were looking at it, and the spring training hoodie was $105 or $110 bucks. And I looked at it online, and it was $85.
Everywhere else was $85.
Yeah, the spring training hat was $48. Where when we went to Goodyear, and that's one thing we'll talk about. What Goodyear had, they were $8 more expensive than the Goodyear hats that they had for the teams. But to me, that was a little weird. The one thing I will say that Surprise did that I thought was pretty cool, they took a thing from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, and Surprise do this thing called combo meals. Kind of how you would do at McDonald's if you just order a number one or tell them a number. And they had that. They had a combo meal with like hot dogs, and I think all of them came with pretzel bites and a drink. And the prices on that actually weren't bad. They were like $11, $12 for a whole little meal thing. And I think that's really good because, I could go with my kid and we could share a drink. She would eat the hell out of some pretzel bites and half a hot dog. I could eat the other half of and everybody's happy, and we don't have to waste a whole lot of money because you want it to be family fun and family oriented, which is why it was a little disappointing on the team shop that it was so expensive, because there were kids that were wanting to buy stuff and the parents were just like, we're going to go find this somewhere else, because they didn't have anything that was overly special that you couldn't find anywhere else if you wanted to look hard.
Right. Yeah, and the stadium itself, on the outside and in the practice areas, everything looked pretty nice. It was just, it seemed like once you got in the front gate that you stepped back about 5 years.
Yeah,
it wasn't. There was nothing fancy about it, and in some of the other, you don't need a fancy stadium for baseball, but so many of these other places were actually really nice and polished.
Right. It was kind of let down, and the thing was, I think I'm glad that I had that as my first. Well, I guess the second game, and the first game was at Camelback, so it was. Right. Really, really nice. So that's what I'm sitting here thinking everything is, because you can't really see a lot inside. But we were able to get in. We actually met Hall of Famer and World Series champion Rollie Fingers.
Yes.
For people that don't know, he's most notorious with the A's. Right? Yes. Yep. He was with the Athletics. He was with the Brewers as well. A couple of other teams, the Padres. But he's the pitcher that had the infamous curly mustache. Yep. And so I was able to take a picture with him, signed a picture for my dad. So that'll be his Father's Day gift. He doesn't listen to the show because of the profanity, so it's not like he's going to know. But it was a lot of fun. We saw JD. Saw John Daniels.
He was sitting right up front watching the game closely, chatting with his other buddies in the front office.
So Chase decided to go and try to be buddies at the front office.
We tried to
moved down beside him.
A little bug in his ear about what he should do. But he didn't want to listen. But
no, we did see him after the game. We talked to him. He ended up with some Gold Beers and Curveball stuff, and had a decent walking chat.
Yeah, just a couple minutes on the go. Tell him what's up.
That's also where we got to talk to Jared Sandler.
Yeah, the infamous Jared Sandler. He's a little short guy. According to him, he's generally unattractive, messy hair, wears blue shoes, and has a range. I'll tell you, when we saw him the next night at the always a quarter zip.
Yes, we saw him at the D-backs and the Rangers game.
It was at Salt River.
Yeah, Salt River Fields, and we were waiting outside, getting ready to go in, and here comes Jared rolling through, and the look on Jared's face
I think
looked like a 6-year-old kid who got separated from his parents at a mall. Like it didn't help that he has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle backpack, and he's getting to the media thing. We yell his name. He looks at us, and he's just the sheer terror in his face. Like, I'm like, is he late? Did he really get separated from his parents? What's going on? And he finally gets inside. The search that he went through.
He even mentioned,
Yeah. When we were chatting with him, I had texted him after we had gotten in, and I was like, hey, where are you guys at in the press box up there? And I cracked a joke like, hey, are you going to make your buddy sit out in the rain because it started raining? And he was like, man, security is so bad here, it's worse than anywhere else. I was like, oh no, I know. I thought we were going to have this bomb dog out to search my backpack. It was that bad out there. It's a great field. Yeah. Great stadium, great complex. Yeah. Everything was really nice out there, but the TSA lady, good God almighty. Why ask if I have binoculars?
Like, what if I want to enjoy the game?
What if I want to see the game? So, yeah, that night we went home.
Yeah.
Tuesday we wake up.
That was Rangers Royals, and
they got through 5 innings.
They did get an official game in, I guess, because of 5 innings.
Yes.
Who did? Let's see. Though that was when Calhoun rounded second and got out.
Yeah.
And there was scoring. It was about 4-4, 5-5. But it was kind of cold and drizzly, so it wasn't really perfect baseball weather at all.
Yeah, it was cold and drizzly for most of the game, and then it got into cold and raining, and after the 5th inning, they called it. So that ended the first full day of spring training.
Yep.
Tuesday, we wake up, and it's raining. Not too bad. We get out to surprise. It's not raining. We message up our buddy, Mr. Sandler. Sandler says it's looking like everything's getting pushed back because we were going to watch a minor league game that day. And
because of all the rain. Yeah.
So we were told that they were going to open at 1. So we decided we'll just bust down to Goodyear while we wait and check it out and see what's going on there.
We did.
And so we went to Goodyear to check out the Reds and the Indians.
Yep.
Now, overall, I think I would watch every game I could at Goodyear.
Yeah,
just
it was
overall excitement from the fans, the staff, food prices, food options, and team shop options and ticket prices. Really, I mean, everything was on point. And what I thought was really, really cool that they did, and I didn't see any other team shop do it, was they had every team's batting practice hat, the on-field batting practice hat for every team that plays in the Cactus League. And I thought that was great. And they were the price that you would buy them at Lids or at the store. Their prices stayed really, they were right there with MLB Shop and Fanatics and stuff like that, where you would buy most of your team apparel and stuff. They didn't try to mark the price up to get more.
Right.
And so I thought that was really good. We ended up buying some stuff that was just generic Arizona League, and they had a lot of good Cactus League stuff that had all the teams.
Yeah, they had variety, and they also, and with the hats, and just definitely a nice feel in there. They also had those programs, like the really in-depth team.
The media and records
media
guide.
So they had a lot of cool stuff.
And they also, you can tell that they're very team-oriented, wanting to get the team to the fans, because they had $100 and $50 game-used uniform stuff.
Right.
They had like game-used batting practice pullovers, game-used spring training jerseys. They had all of this cool stuff that they had. They had seats, and they had things that you wouldn't see at another. I didn't see anything like that at another pro shop.
No,
another team
remember.
shop. I mean, I would say, definitely, I think Wednesday we saw the best team shop, and we'll talk about that here in a bit.
The best. Totally the best.
Yeah. But
for so many reasons.
Yes. So then we go to, after we visit that up, because it's raining, there's nothing happening for the day, it's pouring down rain. The word that we get is basically the night games are still going to be on because it's supposed to be out of here by tonight. So we're like, all right, cool. We'll just go to the Rangers D-backs game. Let's go ahead and go over to Milwaukee.
Right.
So we get going. We're driving. I'm thinking Corey's lost, mainly because there's too many check cashing places in the area that we're driving for me to feel comfortable.
Ended up in Little Mexico.
I was like, hey, they're selling 4-ball tires for $75 across from an Ace Cash Express. Like, I think the GPS is lost. We make like 2 quick rights, and boom, we're in a brand new renovated $70 million complex that has the exact dimensions of Miller Park on 2 of their fields, which I thought was really, really cool. And that we're at the Brewers facility.
Again, it's still a cold and wet day, but it's definitely a good look. They had all those big plaques out front,
so
Bob Uecker and stuff. So kind of how the Star
has, where the Star has the numbers that for retired, or like the Ring of Honor.
Little bio and pictures and stuff.
And so they had that. They had Mr. Baseball, Bud Selig, Hank Aaron. They had Raleigh Fingers. Had several players that you would know about. They had Jack Robinson, not to be confused with Jackie Robinson because they're the same damn guy. But, they went real professional on it. So we go into the team shop. Team shop selection, great again. If you're a big Brewers fan, they got a lot of cool stuff. They actually had a shirt that I kind of kicked myself in the ass for not buying. It was a bullpen cart shirt. Yeah. And it had like flames shooting out the back of it. Thought it was really fucking cool. Looked like a Hot Wheels car.
I thought they had the best, the most like creative designs, spring training focused creative designs. I thought their pro shop was good for that.
And what was also nice was their team shop didn't have a bathroom, which meant that even if there wasn't a game going on or they didn't want you out there, they had to let you outside and go into the stadium so that you could use the bathroom. And so we got to sit out there and check it out. And a security guard was talking to me, telling me about different stuff going on there and everything. And that's when we got to meet our new best friend, Dugout Doug.
And to those who don't get to meet him, and you've really missed out.
And honestly, I think you can meet him if you go to any fucking Brewers function, because he makes trips. He is a diehard Brewers fan. He lives up the road. Like, he comes to check in on the place ever so often. So he comes rolling up. He's in a Brewers pullover, bald-headed guy with a Wisconsin beer gut and cheese gut.
6'3", 350.
Big old guy, loud, boisterous voice.
Big fingers. He points everywhere.
Yeah, he points everywhere. He's looking, and he's in these white, like the old, what your parents, if they're older, or your grandparents.
He's your great uncle Doug. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he has that look. He was telling us he was 59 or something, right?
Yeah, white Nikes on, not
completely unlaced.
No, not a single tie in these laces.
That's what happens when your feet swell.
Yeah,
right?
and he's walking, and he's like, I gotta walk kind of weird because I can't trip over my laces. And I'm like, well, why don't you just tie the damn thing? So we get to talking to him, and
he's got a lot to say.
This guy knows everything about everything that ever happened, and he's got this laugh that's like more of like if you were to punch someone in the gut and knock the wind out of them,
right,
and then try to make a machine gun sound. So it's kind of like a like it's that. So he's talking to us, and I'm looking at Corey like, we ain't fucking getting out of here.
We are stuck in this conversation for the next 5 hours.
And the security guard, God bless him, he stuttered, and so it was just a thing. It kind of looked like Gorilla Monsoon and Kevin Nash, like if they were really, really old, and the guy he was what I was saying was, and I'm just like, oh my God, these two guys together. Corey, we got to say something to see if we can't just back out. And luckily, we had something happen.
We
Nick Rickles
had somewhere to be.
Nick Rickles played for 9 years. Started out with the Athletics, bounced around, ended up, I believe his last season he played with the Nationals. He played with the Phillies for a long time. Yeah. He was on Team Israel when they made their push to the last WBC, and now he is a coach in the Brewers organization.
Right.
He's coaching with short season, working with catchers and hitters. And so we had messaged him, was talking to him, and I was like, hey, we're at your work. And he's like, where are you guys at? And I was like, we're in the pro shop. And he's like, all right, I'll come meet you. So we're talking, and he's got a lot of good insight. He's telling us about, what his new job is, what he's going to be doing with catchers and hitters, and kind of, his career and his journey into what he knows, I can share with these guys, because he has a very analytical mind, and you can tell that.
Yeah, for sure. And he's seen a lot of stuff. And,
and he's seen it on the player side, so he's able to take information and break it down to, maybe your first-year rookie or your short season A-ball guy that's, getting his reps in. So he's going to be a great coach in that area, and I know he'll move up. So we were having a great chat. Well, guess who comes along?
And just talking about, life in Arizona. We were talking about Dominican Republic games.
Yeah, he played in Dominican Winter League, how that translates
the atmosphere out there. Yeah, lots of cool stories, but just shooting the breeze.
Yeah, asking about places that, hey, where should we eat? Where should we go? What should we do?
Totally.
This is your thing. And here comes
Dugout Doug.
Dugout Doug's
he found us.
He found us.
To be honest, with the distance that we traveled and the whole conversation that we had with Nick might have been he turned around and left and walked that direction, and we were talking for like 15 minutes, and then finally he got there.
Yeah,
it took us 30 seconds to walk.
Yeah, because he can't step on them shoelaces. So here comes Dugout Doug, and
he's like, oh, it's you guys again.
Hey, how's it going, guys? And we're like, oh my God. Dugout Doug found us. So we messed with Dugout Doug's head for a minute, and we tell him it's Christian Yelich, that he shaved his head off and grew a beard, shaved his hair off and grew a beard. For a brief minute,
Christian Yelich. That's not Christian Yelich. You guys are so funny.
Yeah, and so then he gets into the conversation, knows everything about everybody for Nick Rickles, and informs Nick. He's like, I remember seeing you on the website.
On the website.
And so I'm sure the website probably...
He's also a meteorological expert for Colorado Springs.
Yeah, he knows everything about Colorado Springs.
He knows exactly how much farther that ball flies. He knows... He just... Oh, gosh. He knows everything, apparently. He
was so funny to listen to. But I feel bad because I'm sure he knows the way that they give out like every company has a thing, like it's either like your first initial and your last name or your initial dot last name.
Right.
So I'm sure he knows how this goes with the Brewers. Poor Nick's probably got 15 fucking emails at this point from Dugout Doug. And so we ended up finishing our Doug moves along. We finished up our conversation with Nick. Nick informs us of a place called Ike's Love Sandwiches.
Yep.
And amazing fucking sandwiches, by the way.
Definitely a good choice, downtown
Phoenix. I got the Gonzo game winner, which baseball fans will remember when the Diamondbacks won the World Series over the New York Yankees on that walk-off hit from Gonzalez. And it was a chicken sandwich with mozzarella cheese sticks on it, lettuce and tomato, and a honey Dijon sauce.
It's kind of like a po' boy, but I would say the bread is a little bit better.
Yes.
Than most po' boys.
They got Zepp's chips, which are always great.
For sure. I can't truly remember everything on my sandwich. I think some honey mustard sauce type thing, some ham. I can't exactly remember.
It was amazing. Like I think
it was 3 different meats, maybe.
As soon as I took a bite, I texted Nick.
Yeah, I loved it.
Good call, man. And then like 2 hours later, we see on his
then he was
Instagram,
like, you know what?
I'm at Ike's. So that was a great time. So we knew we had a little bit of time to kill. So we decided to head on out to Scottsdale.
Scottsdale, here we come.
So we go out to Scottsdale. We hit up the Giants facility, which looks nice. It's in the middle of a fucking neighborhood, though, with no parking. You have to park at the city jail. It's right next door. Like, literally, I'm sure the jail has been hit by a baseball. It's right there. They had, it looked like 4 fields, maybe 3 fields out there. And they were getting a little bit of work in. They were uncovering the field. They had it all tarped up. It had gotten sunny at that point. And so we went in. Their team shop, it was good.
Yeah.
Prices, they stayed with the MLB team shops type pricing. They had a lot of different stuff out there that very fan engaged. I liked theirs. I would say that they did their team shop very well. They didn't have a lot of the authentic on-field stuff that you would find. They were more tailored toward shirts, and of course, being in Scottsdale, you got to have those quarter zip pullovers.
Right.
They had a bunch of that, but it was nice. The only thing is that it is in a neighborhood. It's hard to get around. So we walked around the perimeter of the area. It looked nice from what we could tell. It kind of had that older, vintage, retro kind of feel to it.
Yeah, it had the same brick color as AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, as
in San Francisco.
Park out there. They kind of
few
went
little
with that.
Similar arches.
Yeah, they went with definitely bringing San Francisco to Scottsdale.
Yeah,
and so that was really cool. So
it looked good on the outside, but we couldn't really check it out. Couldn't really tell you how it is.
Right. The one thing that is different, if you are a Giants fan and you want to make the trip out and you haven't done it yet, is they have 2 complexes. So the area that they're in is so small that they actually have to have their.
They have all the minor league practices in another location.
Yeah, their minor league is in about 3 or 4 blocks up the road, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And it's in a park area that they have also converted over there. And so we were actually over there the next day checking things out with Ray, as he's a instructor and a bullpen coach for AAA Sacramento, which is their AAA affiliate. So we get out there, we take a look around. We decide, all right, we're going to go ahead and get out to Salt River Field in Talking Stick Resort, which took us a little bit of time to get out there. When you get out there, be ready to walk.
Yeah, it's a big... So we went from Scottsdale, which had maybe 10 parking spaces, to Salt River that has ginormous fields of parking. They got a huge complex to handle it all.
Right, which I know that they are one of the main...
And they've got the most local teams, Arizona and Colorado, and the nicest, we're about to get into, the nicest stadium. So probably the newest build-out, potentially, and just a huge, massive complex.
It's a great complex. They use that complex a lot for Arizona fall ball.
Yeah.
Fall season, they use that out there for that. But it is a great complex. Great complex comes with higher concessions and higher ticket prices.
Yeah.
So we actually ended up buying our tickets on SeatGeek instead of paying for the price for the tickets there. So we bought these tickets. We get inside. That's where we saw Jared Sandler, panic look on his face as he's rolling in. I get searched. I get asked weird, stupid questions about my backpack. Most people, every other place that I went to, they searched my backpack. They did a good job. They looked at me. They were like, "All right, can you take your hat off? Look underneath it. Oh, that's a pretty funny hat." I give them a sticker. That's how this whole thing went. Not with this woman. This woman's looking through my stuff.
Hold on. Wait. Don't move. I'm still looking at your backpack.
Yeah. So everywhere else, they look through my backpack. They have me walk through. Then they hand me my backpack. Not this lady. This lady looks through my entire fucking backpack while I'm having to wait to walk through the metal detector. Because if she has any questions, if I've walked through that metal detector, she can't ask me about them. I'm like, lady, look, I understand we live in a post 9/11 thing, but you ain't getting called up to the big leagues of Homeland Security and TSA from a fucking spring training game.
Right.
Well, do you have binoculars?
Yeah,
do you have any photography equipment? No, I got a couple of microphones because we do a podcast. Like, it's cool, whatever. Which was what made it funny when we cracked a joke about sitting with Jared when it started raining, and he was like, dude, security here is the worst. It is the tightest ran thing. And when I was like, oh, no, we know. Because I literally thought I was going to have the drug dog and the bomb dog come over and stiff my shit. I was like, dude, good thing I put on clean underwear because I'm going to have to spread them here in a minute. Full cavity search. So we finally get inside. This place has 2 bars sitting on the
different corners. The third
base and first base.
Foul pole corners.
Yeah, kind of where you would almost have where their bullpens are. They have a Budweiser one, and then they have a Salty Senorita, which is a Scottsdale local bar. And they both offer some different things. They also have a Jack Daniels booth and an Absolute booth. So, this is, if you're wanting to party, you're wanting to throw down, you're wanting to have a good time with your friends, this is the field for you.
Yeah, for sure. It's so beautiful. When you walk in, beautiful concourse. Lots of vendor options. They had specific beers for in-state beers. I would
say they had the best center field too, with the cactus, the different levels of cactus.
It was cool. And right, the center field with the cactus, the grass berms were nice out there. The whole walkway everywhere was perfect. Really nice dark brown press box and covering. Just overall great stadium.
It really was. I mean, it could probably. I mean, it would be better than any minor league field you would probably find. There might be a couple of them out there that would be better, but it's hard pressed to find one.
Right, but here's the trick: is that actually that night didn't happen. So
right, yeah,
we
because
weren't
it
even
wasn't an official game. If you go to our Instagram and look, believe it's on Instagram, we have pictures of the double rainbow that popped up. There was a rainstorm that came through right before the game started. We were all huddled up underneath umbrellas.
Posting wasn't working at that time. It is on Twitter.
Okay, it's on Twitter.
Potentially even Facebook. We'll repost things that we didn't, sometimes.
Yeah, our biggest trip and our biggest media thing is in the middle of the Facebook, Instagram shutdown of 2019.
We had a partial shutdown, and so half of the day that we can't even post stuff. We're trying, like that morning with Giants BP, I was trying to post stuff there. It wasn't working for us. But it was a beautiful, we got a beautiful double rainbow before the game. But hey, the rain did end up shortening the game. Yeah,
it was 4.5 innings, I believe. One thing that I will say, cool to the Salt River Field, is when we were at the Dodgers, White Sox, and when we were also at the Reds, Indians, they share a team shop, so it's split halfway down the middle. Cool thing about the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, they have more stuff for each team because each team has their own team shop. Yep. So that's really cool. They also have a great wiffle ball field for kids. Mm-hmm. So you can get your kids out there, play a little wiffle ball before or during the game if they start to get restless. So I guess at this point we can say if you're going out here, the best thing for you to do, buy general admission lawn seats.
Yeah.
That's what we've learned. You buy those, you can pretty much sit wherever you want, especially on
even to be honest, like we were, even with all this security, quote, quote, air quotes, and actually, no, there was that whole SWAT team looking people.
They had like the bombs
all
at
Salt River, but it was just like any other place where if you sat in a not very crowded section, nobody was questioning your seats. So we ended up finding some seats down the first base line.
Yeah, we actually met 2 people that work for the Rangers.
Yeah.
They're ball girls. Their name is Isabel and Kaylee, yeah. So we met them. We chatted with them for a little bit.
Definitely. You might hear from them on the podcast.
Yeah,
they're Rangers
really
affiliated.
Interested. Yeah, and we love to bring Ranger people on. So we sat and chat with them, and then the rain came, and then they called it. I believe it was 4.5 innings in, they called it. So we ended up getting out to the car finally, and that's when we went for our second visit to
Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers.
This
time the Scottsdale location.
And let me tell you something, the Scottsdale waitstaff, that is the Cold Beers and Cheeseburgers
that you want to go to.
That I want to go to. That is the all-star game for this. So we ended up going there, eating. We got wings that time, really good wings. Overall place and feel, it was great. It's a nice place to go and eat. It's affordable, whatnot. So we ended up going there, and then we called it a night. So that gets us to Wednesday. Wednesday is a off day for the Rangers, even though they had an off day the day before. Pretty much they only had to play 4.5 innings. Nothing going on in Surprise.
Yep.
So we decided to venture out to Scottsdale to the minor league training facility for the Giants.
Yeah.
To go check out our buddy Ray Ortega, thank him for the tickets. He gave us a couple of balls. We sat and watched batting practice. We got to see Jonah Arenado out hitting some. The wind was crazy
throwing those screens down.
I mean, the L screens were blowing down. Everything was crazy how windy it was. And
turns out it was a windy day everywhere out there.
Right.
And Amarillo had like 80-mile-an-hour winds the same day.
Yeah, it was just a windy day. The wind was blowing. Ray was like, hey, the wind's blowing. It'll be a fun day for batting practice. Well, the wind blew kind of out, so it was kind of a weird batting practice. Now, the weird thing about their setup there is you're not able to get inside of the fence, so you actually have to go in. They have a walking trail, a tennis club and park area that's out there.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to just stand along the walking trail and watch, which isn't the greatest. You can during the minor league games. From what Ray was telling me, they allow you to go and sit directly behind the home plate, and you can watch the games there.
Definitely the most private area for minor league.
Yes.
Because I can imagine they might be the only ones that don't have a ton of fans at their practices, because every other practice field is next to the facilities,
right?
And generally open walkways around and stuff.
Yeah,
and maybe more fan interaction. With this one, I don't think it's even that easy to look up the address, and it's surrounded by a park, and it's kind of all different. So
right, it's definitely locked up pretty tight there. It's but it was a fun experience. Ray was great. Ray talked to us for a bit. He's the bullpen coach. We'll have him on. We'll also have Nick on to do an actual full-on interview. It was just great to get out there and meet him and chat with him and do stuff like that. So we went there, and then after that, we made the trip out to Mesa to Cubs Land.
Yeah, Sloan Stadium.
Which was the place that I wanted to go to because growing up, the Cubs was the first team I really got to pick for myself to be a fan of. And I loved it. They have the Welcome to Wrigley Field sign, but it's the Sloan Park sign. Great. I could see the food menu. I wanted to eat there the whole time. And that's when we walked into the team shop. And this thing is humongous.
It was humongous. They did have the worst music in all the pro shops.
They did have the worst music.
Way too loud.
They were playing like some John Legend, really, really loud. But a lot of cool stuff there. Anything you would want for anybody that's a Cubs fan, that is where you hit it up. if you're out in Arizona. It was a great field. I can definitely tell you prices that's going to be probably, honestly, more expensive than Salt River. Their berm seats were $38, which berm is your lawn general admission. So definitely kind of a pricey trip. Yeah. But if you're a Cubs fan, you know it's worth it. So we were going to look at going to the Cubs and A's game. It was going to be at the A's. Yeah. And when we started looking at ticket prices, it wasn't a smart pick for us to go to. No. But we went and watched batting practice. We got to see Joe Maddon out there. And Joe Maddon, being the guy that he is, chatting it up with everybody that was out there on the field. I mean, took time. I watched him walk over, and he literally talked to every player that was out there on the field.
Yeah, it was, actually Cubs batting practice was much more exciting to watch. They were hitting dingers.
Oh, yeah.
And, we weren't in the field or on the field, anything like that, but very, very nice facility that the Cubs have.
Yes. We were able to look at it. The one thing we did like, we said we both liked, was that the second deck was completely covered.
Right.
So everything, rain or shine, you're going to have a good time. So we did decide while we were looking, because we thought, well, maybe we can get out there and we can find the pricing on the tickets or something. We went about 3 miles further east, and in the middle of another little Mexico that we found is where the A's have their training facility. It looks a lot like a recreational park area that you would find anywhere, not real big.
The outside of the stadium, not so impressive at all.
The outside of the stadium looks just like the Oakland Coliseum.
Kind of gray and boring.
Yes. So that we were out there, that seemed to have, because the Cubs were there,
they were packed.
To have the most fan fun. They were tailgating spring training games.
Yeah.
They had grills, they had things out there, people drinking beer in the parking lot. If you're a tailgating person, that's where you need to be, is at a Cubs game. I mean, the Cubs traveled well. They had a couple of stores set up across the street. They had merchandise set up across the street at the A Stadium. The Cubs travel well out there. I believe there's a lot of Chicago transplants out in the Arizona area. But it looked like a really fun atmosphere. We just weren't going to pay the ticket prices that were there, and so we opted to go to the Indians and Brewers, which was at Goodyear Stadium.
Yeah, so now it's about lunchtime, and we were torn between two different games. I think before we headed out, we had published that was the game we were targeting, was Cubs A's. It just practically didn't make as much sense, and we still love the option for Brewers Indians. And having already been at Goodyear Park, we thought we'd go catch a game there.
So one thing I will say real quick, I thought was very interesting. We have one in Arlington. It's called Baseballism. It's a baseball-themed lifestyle clothing store. They have one at Salt River Stadium, and they have one at the A's Stadium out there, and they have a standalone in Scottsdale. I thought that was really cool. They have these converted shipping containers that they turn into a store, and they're out there. A lot of cool stuff. They had some exclusive stuff like the Cactus button-down shirt. Really cool stuff that they offered at a couple of the stadiums there. That is one thing that I thought was kind of cool with them. They were the ones that did the hat last year for the A's that had the stirrup sock on the front of it. So we decided to drive out. We decided that, hey, we're going to get out here. We're going to go
way back west.
Yeah, and we were only gone for 4 days, but we kind of missed home, so we stopped off at a Rudy's Barbecue. Second time we've had Rudy's on this trip. First time. Second time was today when we crossed over into Texas in El Paso. But we stopped off. We ended up getting out there. It was windy as hell. We had a park. Parking was kind of bad because of the rain. They had some soggy spots that they couldn't park people. So it was kind of, it was shitty, but we got it.
We would still have to be in that park, in that lot, without rain. I don't think there were so many cars out there.
Yeah,
in the second lot, I don't think it was gonna all be handled, even if the fields were dry.
That was very full. I don't know if that was the one game that had the most fans, or if it was the Dodgers Giants.
Yeah, no, and just in general, all these games are 3/4 capacity.
Yes,
they're all well populated. It's not like you're sitting in a cemetery. It's not quiet at all.
No, it's a lot of
atmosphere.
fun.
So, yeah, it was windy, but it did die down.
It did towards the end.
Yeah.
We walked every stadium we went to. We walked the whole entire concourse, checked everything out. They had great food. They had a whole Cincinnati Skyline chili stand. They had some different stuff going on out there. The wind was blowing crazy. We watched a couple of balls blow out that were foul that probably would have been home runs had the wind not been blowing. We watched a family that had so much fucking kettle corn. I don't know how they ate all that fucking kettle corn.
That was a lot of kettle corn.
And they let their kids run around. They're that family. And then we had a family behind us that the daughter was just hell-bent on proving the mom wrong on everything she ever said. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had fun.
I really enjoyed that game.
Totally. I think that was the best time we had was at that game.
It was a lot of fun. We had the Goodyear Critter or something like that. He's a little blue guy.
The lady said that, his handler, so to speak, said that he's out there for both teams, the Reds and the Indians.
Yeah, he changes his uniform.
So he was just for Goodyear, yeah.
And so I actually ended up FaceTiming my kid because she's back home to watch this little guy run around. He was having a lot of fun. I tried to get him to switch hats with me. He had this huge fucking hat. I mean, it was a huge hat, but he wouldn't switch with me with the Making Baseball Podcast Great Again hat. The field was really cool there. They had a lower seating section right down the first base line. So you could get right up there, right along the field. That was really cool. They had a nice out in the outfield. They had a nice lawn area as well. But as far as prices, that was the best stadium by far.
Yeah, very good, reasonable prices, very good stadium. I think they said it was 10 years old.
Yes.
They had they didn't have the brownstone look. They had more of the gray rock look. But not quite as fancy as Salt River, but still a very well done stadium.
Yeah, and it was great.
There was a sunny day. It was a good game.
Trevor
Bauer's pitching 4 innings.
He pitched four.
He looked good.
Well, he pitched 3 2/3 scoreless.
We saw Hader come in. He did not do that great. He kind of had control issues, but and it was like a 7-4 game or something.
Yeah.
So.
It was
very enjoyable experience at that ballpark.
And then after that, we went back to the hotel to wrap things up and finish out the week. And then we hopped on the road this morning, and it's about 9 o'clock at night, and we're traveling through West Texas.
Abilene area.
We just got through the Abilene area, and we're going to make it home here pretty quick. And but it was a great trip. The thing that I will definitely tell you guys, and I looked into it once we got back, because thanks to Isabel and Kaylee for pointing it out, there is a app called Turo, which I don't know if a lot of you guys know what it is. It's Turo, and you just download it on your phone, and it's an Airbnb, but for cars. Yeah. So you don't have to go through the rental. They charge what they want with it. It looked like you could get cars anywhere from $20 a day to $200
yeah,
a day.
you can go super luxury. Some people use it for. So if you want to, if you do want to do the rental car, you can compare multiple ways on that, and just don't drive like we did.
Yeah.
I mean, the road tripping's fine. It gives us the ability to do the podcast on the road. Unlike sitting in an airplane, can't really do that. Some people don't love airplanes, but hey, it's an 18-hour drive, so it's some parts are beautiful, some parts are really boring.
Yeah, it was from Albuquerque to Phoenix was a rough bout. I mean, it's long, tedious. We took the Amarillo Albuquerque route going. We took the Midland El Paso. Back up that way. That's what we're taking right now. So it was definitely a trip. I wouldn't recommend it for the faint. And people that we talked to,
they were like, "What?
They're you drove it?" And we're like, "Yeah, we drove it."
But I like road trips, so it really doesn't bother me.
Road trips aren't bad.
This is a pretty intense one.
Yes, but definitely had we flown out Sunday morning.
Yep.
We probably could have squeezed in
another game.
at least
for sure.
one game, probably 2 games, and then flown back out and got home, and it wouldn't have been as tedious of a job. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And we also learned a good lesson about hotels.
Yeah, don't stay at the Motel 6 in Black Canyon.
If you want to pay the cheapest prices for hotels, that's where you go.
Yeah.
And, we went into it with few expectations, and I think
I had one expectation, and it was not met. Corey said, hey, when we pull in, Corey's like, hey, so according to the review, there might be some hookers.
Women of questionable character.
Yeah, and I was like, really? Like, I'm ready to, like, so I'm in my mind thinking, like, I'm going to be walking up to this room that's like, hey, you looking for a good time? And I didn't get to turn anybody down. I was a little upset about it. I told Corey I was going to make a Google review that was like, there was no hookers. I was upset. 1 star.
There's some Google review gold online if you look it up.
Yeah, one guy was like, I didn't get stabbed. My car wasn't broken into.
It was satisfactory in that way.
It was a good time. So I guess that kind of wraps up the whole road trip.
For sure.
So I guess we can.
Yeah,
we've been going on for about an hour.
We've been going. You've been talking a lot. So you know what? I think we could talk a long time on all these Major League Baseball changes. There's so many. There's been some announcements. Essentially, what it is MLB sensing the growing unrest with the players is actually making some attempts to compromise with the players' union.
Yes.
Early, and even though this is not this is not the time to negotiate a new CBA, that's in 2 years. They're still working out some different things, and so
they're trying to go into it being friends.
Yes,
and I see that,
and I do actually applaud that. I mean, because maybe there's some. It's a good attitude behind it, and it's genuine. They don't want to avoid a work stoppage, and so they're going to start these little things. But
so
essentially,
in a nutshell,
yeah, it's just a lot of like roster things, and then also
so they're
the
getting rid of the trade
break.
deadline.
Yeah, and the trade deadline.
They're getting rid of the 2 trade deadlines where you have non-waiver and waiver trade deadlines where you can trade in August. That's no more. It's all July 31st. July 31st is the last day. Now, you can claim people if they clear through waivers, but you can't trade them on waivers. So it's basically they clear waivers, you can pick them up. So that kind of eliminates that, July 31st. All-star voting, like you were saying. They're doing...
it's going to be a little different, like 2 rounds of voting.
Yeah, so they're going to do that.
The team can nominate, so the team can get it right for who they know as their best players. And then that's who's nominated for the first round of voting. The top 3 or the top 5 of each position go to a 1-day runoff vote, and that's who becomes your starters.
Right. Also for the All-Star Weekend, $1 million going to the winner of the Home Run Derby, and they're going to implement any inning after the 10th inning. They're going to start with a runner on second base. They're going to try that one out.
And that's just for the All-Star game, though, guys.
Right.
Don't forget.
So that's going to be the change for that. The next season after that, they're going to be upping the active roster from 25 to 26.
Yep.
And then they're getting rid of the 40-man roster at the end of the season, September call-ups. They're taking it down to 28, and you have to carry the 28.
Right.
Now, you'll still only suit the 26, but you'll have 2 people with you.
That's how I understood is you suit. Maybe not. I don't know exactly.
You have a 13-pitcher maximum and a 14-pitcher maximum when they go to the
depending
28.
on the time, yeah.
Yes. Now, also, if you they're bringing back the 15-day IL now, and if
you're sent down, if you're optioned down, you have to wait 15 days as well. So
that's basically it. We'll get more into that probably next episode. But I mean, we're gonna finish up it now. We're gonna be passing Union Hill Road. It looks like here in the Abilene area. Got a little bit more time to drive, but it should be a good time. And until then, guys, drink responsibly, enjoy baseball irresponsibly, and we'll see you next week.